Hey folks, welcome back to Mark Kelly Farm. We have a warm day here on the farm. Less than a week ago we had minus 50 degree wind chill here. And today we are 54 degrees. You can see where the snow drifted a little bit. There's still some snow here, but it's melting quick. So we're going to check the bees out since it's above 50 degrees and see if there's any activity. Not seeing any movement, but that doesn't mean everything's not okay. The sun is not out today, so the sun's not hitting on the box. And a lot of times out here in Nebraska this time of year, it's colder on the inside of a building than it is on the outside, which is probably what's going on, so they don't feel the warmth. I was just in the shop, and it was colder inside the shop than it was outside. It will not be long. This windmill tower will bust it out and get it planted back in the ground and get our windmill back up on top of it. Looking forward to that project. Looks like we got a little moisture out here. The garden's a good place to look because there's not a lot of grass covering the ground. And it looks like we got a little bit, and boy, we sure needed it. So I don't think we'll probably need to be watering the fruit trees like I was going to do. That can probably maybe wait for a while because it looks like we have some moisture out here from the snow. If we get a real light snow, a lot of the moisture just evaporates up into the air and it doesn't actually get down into the ground. But these trees look like they're getting some. You can see there's a little puddle down here, so that's a good sign. But what is not a good sign on this tree is something's been nibbling on it, and I don't know how it's getting in there. That is not good at all. Now I found just a little gap on this side. It can't be more than 1/2 inch under here. I cannot see where a rabbit would be able to even get through that. And that's about the only thing that I can imagine that would be causing this damage, because there's no other damage up higher on the plant. It's all down there where something could reach it. So that really infuriates me. I thought I had these all buttoned up. I wonder if it's some kind of other kind of creature that's getting in there and getting to that. It would have to be fairly small to get through that wire. But if anybody's got any ideas, let me know in the comments, because makes me mad. The chickens all handled the cold weather last week really well. Some of them are hanging out inside. I can hear them in there. But you don't need to go crazy with the heat lamps and all that. Like I said, we were 50 below wind chill last week. And as long as the birds can get out of the draft and get inside the coop, they're fine. They'll huddle up together and keep warm. You can see the guineas are out playing now, so they're fine too. Hershey down here, she likes to give us a hard time if she don't get no treats out here whenever she sees somebody. She starts to squawking, "Where's my treats?" You can see there's not much green back here on the food plot that we planted. I knew we planted a little bit late, but it was worth a try. Maybe some of that seed will come up this spring when things start getting warm. We should have planted that much earlier, but during harvest time I get wrapped up into harvest and things pretty much come to a stop around the homestead here. But I need to be a little more proactive this year and maybe plant that, if it still needs to be planted, before harvest, maybe in, I don't know, August or somewhere in there, so we can get that going. Now, if you remember, we got our drone here not too long ago, but we haven't had favorable weather conditions to do any flying. But today, the flag is still. So what say we go for a ride?
Fly.
Alright, we're flying. Let's rotate a little bit, see where we're at. Like we need to go up some more. Get above the tree line. There's our main road. There's the neighbor's cornfield pivot out there to the straight ahead. Let's back up a little bit. Get a little better view. Alright, you can see our shelter belt there. Turn our camera angle down a little bit. There we go. Lose some altitude. We want to make sure we stay above the treetops. So let's go over here to the other side of the shelter belt here. Looking out over the neighbor's cornfield. There's the shelter belt. Looks like we're well above the trees. And let's take a look to our right. We're only 65 feet high. There's the back of the property. Let's get a little higher just in case. Here's the area back in the back. This fence line here is ours, the back of our property. And then here's the food plot area there that we were looking at earlier. Turn a little bit. See if we can gimbal down a little bit. There's the garden area, the greenhouse, and the shop. Go past the garden area. There's the bees out there and our windmill tower. There's some cedar trees there. Let's gimbal up a little bit. There's the house and the gazebo and all that. Back up a little bit. There's the whole place. Now I want to go over here, see if we can get a video or a picture from an angle over here. We have some pictures from this angle, and I wanted to try to get a newer picture.
Drone low voltage.
The drone reached its distance limit, so it's kind of coming back on its own.
Distance limited.
Then I got a battery issue, so we need to return home.
Down.
So our drone's going to come home. I'm getting the battery indicator on the drone.
Distance limited. Drone low voltage.
Okay, we're coming down on the drone. I think there's the wind up a little bit higher, but she's coming down now. And we've landed. We can adjust our camera gimbal up. How you doing, folks?
Drone low voltage.
I obviously have a lot to learn about that drone. Even though it flies fairly easy, you still have to get used to the controls, because you have 8 different controls just with the stick, and then you have the camera controls. There's 3 or 4 of those, and then there's all the functions and all that you got to get used to. And there's that beeping that I don't know what that's about. I don't know if they have to beep now so people know they're in the area, but you can hear them running, so I don't know why it would have to beep. So I'll have to figure out what that beep is. And then you heard the guineas in the background almost the whole video, because they saw something up in the sky, so they alerted. They're the watchdog of the bird species, and whenever somebody comes into the yard or whatever, you'll hear that sound. So you'll know when somebody's there or somebody's around the chicken coop. But if you want guineas, you're going to have to get used to that. They don't do it all the time, only when they think something's threatening them. But I hope you enjoyed that little drone flight. We'll get a lot better at it, obviously. That thing will follow me around the yard and hover above me and lock on me, and it'll do, orbits looking at whatever's in the center. It's pretty cool. It's got a lot of functions, but again, we got to learn them. And then I hadn't charged that battery since we had it delivered, so that's why that flight was a little bit short. Plus, it's cold out here. It's not crazy cold, but the batteries don't last as long in the cold. All right, we think we're going to wrap this up. We got some stuff to do in the shop, so hope you enjoyed our little drone flight, first of many. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come back and see us here on Mark Kelly Farm.